Hey guys, tonight we're hopping on a time machine to colonial India, where the first trains didn't just puff along the tracks in rhythmic clanks. They were more like traveling spice markets, filled with the aromas of sizzling fragrances and tales of adventure. Picture this: the steam engines wrapped in curly smoke, intermingling with the earthy scent of turmeric cumin and a hint of something deliciously simmering in a brass pot nestled inside the train's bustling compartments. Now hold onto your seatbelts, or in this case, maybe a sturdy piece of rickety train railing, because you probably won't survive this journey without a pinch of historical whimsy. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And hey, why not drop a comment with your location and local time too? Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. As you settle back into your dream-induced seat, you find yourself standing at the bustling platform of Mumbai, then known as Bombay, in the year 1853. It's one of those spectacularly hot afternoons where the city buzzes with an infectious energy. Coolies clad in loose white dhotis deftly balance piles of luggage on their turbaned heads, zigzagging through the crowd with practiced efficiency. The air is thick with the scent of the sea, mingling with the pungent allure of street vendors, selling everything from chilies to chaats. You can't help but wonder if they ever worried the train might smell even better than their food. The roar of the steam engine slowly looms into focus as you board its rhythmic chugging, offering a comforting predictability amidst the chaos. Inside the interior is a mix of colonial elegance and a rustic charm that only India can pull off. Brass fittings gleam softly under the subdued light, while the ceiling fans lazily rotate, barely cutting through the muggy air. You find your seat by an open window, curtains fluttering gently. Opposite you, an elderly gentleman sits his attention on a newspaper. He adjusts his round glasses, absorbed, but not unwelcoming. You catch a whiff of masala from somewhere nearby. Is someone cooking? Your curiosity piques. It doesn't take long for you to discover that meals on these trains are not your everyday affair. A vendor weaves through the aisle balancing a brass pot. He pauses within arm's length of you, lifting the lid, just so fragrant steam cascades out, as if the pot itself is exhaling. Biryani, he asks with a knowing smile, as if there can be no other answer. The scent is intoxicating enough to answer for you. Historians still debate whether the meals prepared during these journeys were as lavish as legend suggests, but with each bite you take, it's an easy mystery to savor. The rice is perfectly spiced, each grain a testament to the culinary mastery that seems endemic to every corner of this land. The gentleman across from you looks up from his paper, a polite but curious visitor to your gastronomic reverie. Good choice. He nods approvingly. First voyage, he asks, speaking in gentle tones that ripple like a distant echo. You nod, reciprocating his warmth. Though your mouth is full, he reads the delight in your eyes. His name, you learn, is Mr. Banerjee. He's a frequent traveler of this route, a trader of spices, he explains. His accounts unfurl like the pages of a dusty old book. Once I lost a bag of peppercorns to a mischievous monkey. Trust me, finding a primate with a penchant for Piper nigrum is no laughing matter. He chuckles. a chuckle that becomes infectious. As the train stutters out of the station, rocky tracks rolling like tambourine beats underfoot, the scenery changes from urban chaos to lush countryside. You watch as green, undulating fields rise and fall outside your window. Small villages whiz by each, with their own story of farmers tilting their hats against the sun children, racing it to the horizon, and golden crops swaying gently and decisive between earth and breeze. Suddenly a piercing whistle cuts through the nostalgia. Your thoughts momentarily suspended like birds in flight refocus. You notice the train staff hauling wooden logs into the belly of the engine. The massive black beast is fed, much like you were moments ago, with something earthy, seasoned, and essential. Coal shortage, Mr. Banerjee explains with a mild shake of the head. It's another one of those realities of colonial rail travel. They improvise with wood to bridge the supply gaps, a detail the history books often gloss over in favor of grand tales, but here you are, snugly stuffed with delicious biryani, pondering the uncanny ways of travel. And it's in these moments that you really feel the weight of history pressing on the thin fabric of the present. The scent of cardamom lingers in the air, mixing with coal smoke, an odd yet oddly comforting fusion, as though trapping time itself in aroma. You stretch out your legs, surrendering to the lull of the rhythmic sway, the sounds, the smells. As the day lazily drifts by, a soft golden light bathes the compartment, framing Mr. Banerjee's face in gentle shadows. As you lean back, the rhythms of the past begin to blend with the beating of your own heart. You exhale slowly, shoulders relaxing, against the creaking bench, secure in the embrace of an era long gone, but warmly rewoven in this journey with you in mind. As the day unfolds, you find yourself at an important juncture in history. April the 16th, 1853, standing on the bustling platform of Bombay Station. The air is filled with excitement and a hint of smoke from the steam engine. A powerful metal beast waiting to embark on its maiden passenger voyage toward Thane. You can't help but feel the energy vibrate through your feet on the ground beneath the mosaic of lively conversations and echoing footsteps. Around you, the crowd is a tapestry of vibrant saris and muted colonial garb, all eyes fixed on the mighty iron serpent that promises to change everything they know about travel. The station's red brick walls witness the event with stoic grace, as if acknowledging their role in hosting this historic departure. Among the throng, you overhear a portly gentleman, his mustache twitching with interest, speaking to a swath of eager ears. Did you hear, he chuckles? They say it's safer than riding a horse, but you probably won't survive the wonder or the sandwiches. His companions laugh, and you feel compelled to join, sharing that universal camaraderie found in new experiences. You glance down at your ticket, a small slip of paper that holds promises of speed and adventure. As you board the train, the clamor of the station fades, replaced by the cozy hum of anticipation inside the carriage. Seated on a wooden bench that creaks with history in the making, you notice a wicker basket passed between travelers. A fellow passenger, her bright eyes glinting with the thrill of the day, informs you it's a delight, really. prepared to honor this occasion. You must try some. Curious, you peek into the basket, finding an array of delicacies. The first thing to catch your eye is the sandwiches, dainty triangles of bread, ensconcing tangy chutney and fresh cucumbers. There's a timeless simplicity to them, a reminder of the blending worlds aboard this train. You feel a sense of wonder at how something as basic as a sandwich can so adeptly capture an era's complexity. Nearby, an animated debate gently rumbles, older voices softened by the rhythmic clatter of wheels on tracks. Historians mutters one sage voice still can't agree on whether it was the sandwiches or the train itself that stole the day. A young child, freckled and wide-eyed, nudges his father, whispering loud enough for all to hear. "Papa, is it true the sandwiches are magic?" The father chuckles, ruffling his son's hair. "Only if you believe in them, my dear." The train lurches forward and you feel a gentle pull, like fingers through your hair. The countryside begins to unfold beyond the windows, a moving panorama of lush greens and sunlit fields that stretches out like a watercolor painting come to life. The engine's chugging pulses through the carriage, a heartbeat of innovation. You exhale slowly, your shoulders relaxing into the humming rhythm. As you savor each bite of the sandwich, you finally claim a warm blend of sweet, salty, and tang tickles your taste buds. You can't help but feel a part of something bigger, connected to the many others partaking in this humble feast. It's a bite of history, melding the foreign and familiar in perfect balance. Your gaze drifts across the faces of your companions, each wearing expressions that mirror your own. A mixture of curiosity, marvel, and perhaps a dash of whimsical fear. You wonder as the train moves steadily onwards if they ever imagined being part of such a grand moment, each one a living piece of a future they could only dream of. One fellow in particular draws your attention. His eyes, concealed behind round spectacles, shimmer with ideas he might pen later, perhaps in a memoir of sorts. You imagine it: sandwiches, steam, and the secrets of a century. The title playfully lingers in your mind, a touch of history tinged with humor. You are absorbed in your thoughts, immersed in the warmth and camaraderie of the carriage, where the past meets the present, in every laughter-peppered conversation, in every shared bite. Here, within the wooden womb of the train, history and humanity intertwine, painting a vivid tableau that might just outlast the fleeting speed of the journey itself. You step off the bustling train, your senses immediately overwhelmed by the chaotic symphony playing out on the platform. Each station stop is more than just a pause in your journey. It's a heartbeat pulsating with life and activity, transforming what is a small, forgotten corner of the world into an impromptu food court. The air is dense with the mingling scents of spices and sweet milk, a comforting aroma that feels like a hug from a favorite uncle. As you wander through this lively scene, hawkers dart about like dancers in an intricate ballet, maneuvering effortlessly amidst the crowd. Their melodic calls rise above the clamor: tea-puffed rice, sweet milk, banana fritters, each word sung in a rhythm that matches the rumbling of the trains. Somehow they manage to balance clay pots on their heads with a kind of grace that looks effortless until you imagine trying it yourself. You'd probably end up with a pot and several banana fritters on the ground. Just as you ponder the mysteries of balance, a young boy with wide, eager eyes offers you a cup of tea. It's steaming and fragrant, and you nod in thanks, savoring the heat as it seeps through your fingers. Historians still debate whether these impromptu markets were the birthplaces of some local dishes. Standing here now, you can believe it. The blend of flavors in the air and the hurry and hum of people create something extraordinary, a moving tapestry of culture and cuisine. You take a sip of the tea, and the taste is as comforting as its scent promised. Maybe not something to write a sonnet about, but certainly a symphony. Across the platform, an older woman calls out, in a voice that could probably cut through steel, offering an assortment of puffed rice and fritters. She appears to be the queen of this particular realm, her arms moving with well-practiced precision as she serves her wares to the crowd. You wonder, not for the first time, what stories she could tell, a walking, talking history book wrapped up in a colorful sari. Despite the cacophony, there's a rhythm here, a kind of harmony among the chaos. It's not hard to find your own place inside it, to find a moment of stillness, even as the world swirls around you. The platform becomes a stage, and you an audience member watching, as a young girl giggles with glee, banana fritter in hand, while an elderly man nods off on a bench nearby. Oblivious to the world, but somehow still in it. As a train heaves itself back into motion, it lifts away some of the noise, revealing moments of unexpected tranquility. The platform empties slightly, and you find a space to lean against a rusty pole, letting the sounds and smells settle over you like a familiar blanket. The puffed rice lady throws a cheeky glance your way, as if sharing a joke that only the two of you understand. It's a world in miniature, and you travel weary and seeking solace are somehow part of it. What's extraordinary is the way these brief pauses, these station stops feel like home. They hold tales of travelers who came before you, narratives stitched into the very cobblestones, like the great banquet hall of a medieval castle, but here now alive in open air without pretense. The ground beneath you echoes with the stories of countless lives. And just as you start to think that maybe you've discovered every secret this temporary marketplace holds, a young boy skipping past lets slip a rumor, perhaps more the result of fancy than fact, that one of the hawkers has the secret to eternal happiness hidden within his fritter recipe. You can't help but smile at the idea and feel a tickle of curiosity. As you step closer to inspect this so-called elixir of joy, you remind yourself that even the most ordinary moments can hide treasures untold. So here you are, part of the story in this living, breathing station. You sigh contentedly, shoulders relaxing, grounding yourself in this vivid reality, painted with spices and laughter, the comedy of balance, and the eternal allure of trains pulling away into the horizon. As the shadows grow longer, you let these sensory memories tuck themselves into your mind, finding comfort in the knowledge that history's vastness is often written in the moments between departure and arrival in stations that briefly become the whole world. As the rhythm of the train gently rocks you, you find yourself seated in one of the British elite's dining cars. It's a rare privilege, reserved only for those embarking on longer journeys. The polished wood glimmers in the soft gaslight, and the gentle sway of the train seems to whisper stories of the past into your ear. Perhaps this is why you're here, to grasp the echoes of history traveling through time alongside you. Historians still debate whether the original designers ever imagined such lavish surroundings, but it's hard to deny the elegance of it all. A crisp linen napkin rests gracefully in your lap, its texture soft against your fingers. Across from you sits an impeccably dressed gentleman, his monocle catching the light in a way that makes you wonder if he's not just someone out of a period drama. He glances at you and, in an accent as refined as the china, before you remarks, "It's not often one finds such luxury on the rails." You nod, acknowledging the truth of it. After all, not everyone has chicken sandwiches served to them as they journey through the English countryside. You casually reach for one, marveling at how something as simple as a sandwich could seem so grand. There's a moment of internal dialogue where you question whether sandwiches were always a travel staple or a luxury. This thought flutters away like the pages of old history books as you savor the taste. The train's windows reveal sweeping vistas of green pastures stretching toward the horizon. The scenery is calming, almost hypnotic, and you find yourself momentarily lost in the repeated pattern of sheep dotted across fields like fluffy clouds descended to earth. The sight is so tranquil that you nearly laugh at yourself, wondering how something so mundane could be so captivating. "Care for some wine?" the man asks, interrupting your reverie. There's a playful lilt in his voice, as if he's offering you the secret to making this exquisite experience even more perfect. As you accept, he pours the liquid like it's a ceremony, each glass catching droplets of soft golden light. The stories shared in the dining car are as rich as the meal before you. Conversations echo the train's rhythm with improbable tales of bygone eras, claims of Victorian innovations that sound too absurd to have been real. Were steam trains ever predicted to rival ocean liners? Some would laugh, citing their own overland journey as proof of ambition's folly. Nevertheless, here you are journeying in style, where few have ventured. As the train chugs along, you notice a peculiar detail. A staff member delicately adjusting the carnations in a vase, ensuring their vibrancy remains unspoiled by the train's gentle shudder. Why carnations? I wonder, you muse aloud, met by a knowing smile from the waiter. Symbol of luxury, sir and madam, he explains with a slight bow, humor twinkling in his eyes. Or perhaps just the only flower that we can keep alive on these long trips. Your fellow diners share stories filled with sleepy nostalgia, tales of mysterious travelers, and unclaimed luggage that are far less intriguing than a life each recounts. There's Sir Watson, who claims he met a young inventor who tried selling metal wings to the ministry as a means of faster passage, just like a pigeon, he'd exclaim, causing chortles to ripple down the carriage. The gentle lull of the train lulls you into a sense of comfort. The scents of well-cooked meals mingle with the earthy undertones of the train itself, creating a symphony of sensory detail that enriches the journey. Your gaze drifts once more out the window, where twilight begins its slow advance, casting a beguiling glow over the passing landscape. You glance at your companion, catching their similarly tranquil meditation on the outside world. There's a sense of shared understanding, as though both of you recognize that despite the luxury around you, the simple pleasure of a moving landscape is the real allure of train travel. You exchange a soft smile, one shared among those who know. The real treasure lies not in the destination, but the journey itself, napkins, sandwiches, and all. You find yourself sitting comfortably on the gently swaying train, the rhythmic clattering of wheels on tracks serving as a soothing backdrop to your thoughts. The air is filled with a mix of anticipation and the subtle aroma of fresh cooked meals stored for the journey ahead. You glance around at the travelers in your compartment. Some families sit together, their excitement mingling with the soft anticipation of a trip yet to fully unfold. Others sit alone, perhaps, pondering the paths that led them to this shared space, this shared moment. Among them, almost everyone carries Tiffin carriers filled with home-cooked delicacies. It's the little details that make these journeys memorable, like the slight clink of a Tiffin box as it's carefully placed on the overhead rack, or the carefully wrapped banana leaf parcels that hint at the treasures inside. As you observe, you're reminded of how packing food is as much a part of travel as the journey itself. It's an old tradition, one that spans across the world. During the Victorian era, for instance, packing food for a train journey was equally essential, even if their sandwiches might not have held the same spicy punch as the food you're seeing here today, you think with a quiet grin. Most of the travelers have filled their tiffins with a vibrant assortment of dishes. Your train companion to the right, a friendly person with a warm smile, opens their carrier, revealing a golden heap of lemon rice, the grains still glistening with oil and turmeric. The aroma of fresh lemon zest fills your senses, and for a moment you wonder if the train could somehow pick up speed, powered solely by the zesty tang. Across the aisle, a child patters on the window seat, their eyes as wide as saucers, as their mother unwraps a parcel of puris. The sight of the deep-fried breads puffed and waiting to be devoured makes your own stomach give a small, hopeful twist. It's a reminder that no matter where you're from, some things, like the comforting allure of good food, are universally understood. Pickles richly spiced and glowing with chili and mustard oil sit in small containers, ready to add an extra kick to the meal. You chuckle softly to yourself, recalling how some historians like to argue over the origins of these preserves. Yet here in this cozy train compartment, everyone seems more interested in enjoying them than sparking a culinary debate. You notice sweets wrapped in banana leaves or cotton cloths, their concealed delights adding a layer of mystery. You can almost see the colors in your mind's eye, the vibrant yellow of peta, the brown of rich jaggery sweets, all promising a sugary satisfaction at the end of the meal. It's funny, you think with a playful smile, how something so small could hold such an anticipation of joy. As the train trundles on, an older gentleman, gray-haired and wise-eyed, shares a bit about how, in times past, these meals served not just as sustenance, but as a connection to home, a taste of comfort when miles away from familiar surroundings. There's nothing like a bite of pickle to remind you of family dinners, he says, chuckling softly, and you nod in agreement, your heart warm with shared stories. Outside the window, the landscape slowly transforms. Fields give way to hills, and you find your eyes lazily tracing the contours of distant ranges. For a brief moment, you catch your reflection in the glass and see your own anticipation mirrored back at you. The endless horizon sings a lullaby of possibilities, and you find yourself gently swaying in time with the world's rhythm. In your mind, you map out the journey, marking places not just by the miles traversed, but by the meals that punctuate them. Someone once said that food is history you can taste. And as you sit back, the thought settles comfortably next to you, much like the strangers who are slowly becoming companions on this sleepy voyage. The evening sun glows a golden hue, casting long shadows inside the compartment. You exhale deeply, shoulders relaxing into the seat's quiet embrace. The gentle chatter of voices weaves a soft tapestry around you, all wrapped in this shared experience of travel and taste. This train, this moment, becomes a reminder that life's journeys like this one are best savored with a touch of zest and a bite of something sweet, all wrapped up in cozy memories. The candle flickers gently beside you, casting soft, warm light across the stone walls. You are in a small, time-worn kitchen where the lively crackle of a coal fire dances in the hearth. The air is slightly smoky, with a hint of roasted spices creating a sense of homely comfort. In the center of the worn wooden table, there's a stack of metal tins, each one meticulously placed upon the other, forming a tower of history and hearty meals. These tins, sometimes called Tiffin carriers, are intergenerational treasures. But tonight they are your focus, holding secrets from the past to share. The top tin is slightly dented perhaps from a small mishap while scurrying across cobblestone streets. You gently lift the lid to reveal a warm meal of aromatic stew. Now here's the ordeal, coal soot. Probably one of the worst seasoned messes you never remember asking for. Yet these tins, crafty and compact, are carefully designed to keep such nuisances away, preserving the purity of every bite heated by the embers of life. As your hand hovers over the next tin, you can't help but chuckle softly. A bemused thought crosses your mind. Have you stepped into the shoes of a food critic, or are you just hungry? Little do most know the custom of stacking meals began as a necessity, not merely a convenience or a curious piece of kitchen gadgetry. In bustling city centers, these tins traveled with workers, their carrying cases protecting provisions during long rides on lumbering trams or winding bike paths. Historians still debate when exactly metal tins replaced earthenware crockery. Some suggest it was a clever mind in India adopting their use to suit the needs of railroad workers. Remember, the road of railways didn't build itself without needing a lunch break or two. You imagine workers of the past sitting together cracking jokes about whether packing more than one potato would challenge the structural integrity of their containers. You navigate through more memories and tins, feeling a sense of nostalgia, recognizing each scratch and scuff as badges earned over years of service. Imagine the stories they could tell, tales of old family recipes hastily scribbled on scraps of paper, Sunday dinners with extended family punctuated by laughter and gentle bickering, meals shared with neighbors on festivity-laden evenings. These tins held it all, playing silent witnesses to bustling lives and quiet domestic moments. Your fingers trace the etched initials on the underside of one tin, remnants of ownership long since past. Handcrafted marks of another era reveal their rich stories, little narratives like chapters in a well-thumbed novel. Long ago, who might have engraved this? And did they dream of their culinary vessel enduring this long, outlasting their recipes, and perhaps even their descendants' palates? A soft breeze from an open window brushes against your skin, and the scent of the simmering stew wafts up, intertwining with the coal smoke, creating a kaleidoscope of aromas. It anchors you to this moment, this calming twilight, where time seems both endless and finite. You sink deeper into the chair, considering how these simple metal carriers have journeyed across continents, each scratch a testament to durability and trust. Just then, the gentle voice of a grandmotherly figure echoes softly in your mind, a blend of advice and humor. If that tin could talk, it would probably have more wisdom than half of us combined. You smile at the thought, realizing your own connection to these relics, feeling the weight of history echoed in their aged patina. The conversation turns gentle in your spirit, like a lullaby of clinking tin lids and whispering winds, inviting you to imagine the scenes from a bustling market in Bombay, or a silent picnic under the shade of English oaks. These metal varmints, after all, are the unsung heroes of everyday battles, a glimpse of the lives threaded through generations. Lowering the final tin, you close your eyes briefly, pausing to appreciate the quiet consistency these tins represent in a fast-changing world. With a soft sigh, you stand and step away from the table, the pebbled floor cool beneath your feet, as you take one last glance at the historic stack. You listen as the coal fire crackles contently, as if amused by the day-to-day rituals it has observed over the years. Each crack echoes like laughter along the well-trodden path of time. These tins may not just carry food, they carry companionship, warmth, and a reminder of shared humanity. It's a tale ages in the making. And tonight it is your story. Your own journey, much like those who have come before you, is now part of the enduring legacy that dances around these stacked towers of tin. With a sense of peace and curiosity, you step through the threshold back into the heart of where stories live and breathe within us all. The gentle cry echoes through the train station, chai chai, garam chai. You find yourself amidst the murmuring crowd at an Indian railway station during a time when steam engines were the kings of the tracks. The smoky air carries the promise of an epic journey, and the symphony of vibrant human commotion is your companion. Voices rise and fall like waves, and there among them is the enchanting call of the Chaiwala. You can't help but smirk. How can something as simple as tea hog as much spotlight as the legendary train whistle? You navigate through the bustling platform, dodging luggage and laughing children, feeling a sense of adventure settle like soft dust on your shoulders. Your eyes catch the sight of the Chaiwala, a man with a warm smile and a rhythm to his routine. His hand moves with the precision of a practiced artisan, pouring steaming chai into clay cups. each one a warm embrace waiting for eager fingers. As you settle onto a wooden bench, still aching from the memories of countless travelers, your senses are overwhelmed by the aroma of the chai, rich and sweet. You grasp the small kulhar, a clay cup in your hands, feeling its rough texture and the gentle warmth seeping into your fingertips. You take a sip, and the sweetness hits your tongue like a fond memory, while the fragrant spices wrap around you like a comforting shawl. You never expected bedtime history to taste this good. Hopefully you don't nod off before the story's even begun. Next, you find yourself quietly eavesdropping on the energetic conversations around you. A group of friends debates the worst train delay they've ever endured as if it's a sport. The elderly couple nearby exchanges stories of the days when trains first became a part of their lives, detailing the awe they felt as vast distances shrank with the marvel of the locomotive. Did you ever notice someone chuckles how chai makes friends out of strangers, whether you want it to or not? It's true. The sweet liquid has a way of breaking down barriers one sip at a time. Makes you wonder if freedom should be served in chai-sized doses. You listen a little closer and catch some tidbits of history that nestle themselves comfortably into the narrative. The age-old tradition of serving tea in kulhars dates back longer than most cares to trace, maybe even to the British colonial period, when Indians first adapted tea with their own flavorful twist. But historians still debate whether the Brits or the Indians deserve this credit for perfecting the recipe. Regardless, you're just glad someone did. Above the chatter, a train whistle cuts the air with a shrill note that sends a ripple of anticipation across the platform. It's a sound so iconic, much like a celebrity cameo in your favorite show. You chuckle to yourself, thinking, maybe this train believes it's the Leonardo DiCaprio of transport. As the train pulls in, passengers pour out, and the platform surges with new energy. The Chaiwala works faster, an artist in his element, pouring and passing occasionally, sharing a soft word or a gentle laugh with a customer. Each small transaction seems more an act of human connection than a commercial one. You rise feeling the gentle vibration of the engine humming through the wooden planks underfoot, and take another sip of your chai, savoring the moment. The platform is a place of constant motion, yet here, with a cup of tea in hand, you find an island of calm amidst a sea of chaos. Scanning the crowd, you notice a young girl offering flowers from a woven basket, their colors vivid against the backdrop of weathered stone and steel tracks. Her bright eyes twinkle with hope. Perhaps these blooms will buy her a cup of that beloved chai. You smile and think about how this place is a tapestry, woven with infinite stories, each as fleeting and fragile as the next train departing. You find that oddly reassuring, like knowing no matter what happens next, there'll always be a call for chai chai garam chai, battling the mighty whistle for supremacy in the race for your attention. As the evening wears on, the crowd begins to thin, leaving behind a trail of discarded clay cups. Your own cup now empty, you crush it gently, a ritual that signals a finished chapter. You imagine the earth reclaiming the fragments, part of a cycle as old as the station itself. The Chaiwala flashes you a knowing smile as you pass once more, his voice still melodic, still a constant in the ever-shifting scene. You consider if he might be the real celebrity here, with all his charm and craftsmanship. It's just like a bedtime story, you muse, where it's the unsung heroes who often leave the deepest mark. With a last glance over the bustling platform, you step onto the train feeling a wistful kind of peace. The chai's warmth lingers like an old friend's goodbye hug, gently easing you back into the rhythm of your journey. As the train lurches forward, you find yourself settling back, eyes growing heavy content in the knowledge that some things, a warm cup of chai, the reassuring whistle of a train, the endless possibility where stories begin are timeless. There you are, seated by the window of a train, gently rumbling its way through the vast, diverse landscape of India. Outside, the sun sets in a golden haze, casting long shadows over the fields. The rhythm of the wheels on the tracks is nearly as soothing as the tales you've heard of the past, those whispered secrets of eras gone by. The feeling of being transported is more than just physical. It's a ticket, one that bridges cultures, times, and teacups. A steward dressed sharply in a uniform that's slightly frayed at the edges as if it's seen better. Grander days approaches balancing a tray. Tea and toast. He asks, kindness in his eyes, and a touch of mischief perhaps, aware of the small irony of the combination. You nod, intrigued by the fusion of British straightforwardness and Indian warmth on offer. The train is a microcosm of two worlds, meeting like the sun and the moon, but with fewer celestial orbits and more biscuits. As you take the tea, the aromas of cardamom and ginger infuse the air, bringing forth a flood of senses. You notice how the toast mirrors the empire itself, one side crisp and proper, the other soft and absorbing the flavors of the rich spread. It's like tasting history, a heady blend where the contrasts are as significant as the convergences. Sipping the steaming tea, you marvel at how this seemingly simple ritual felt essential enough to bridge empires. Unbeknownst to many, tea became a subtle ambassador in the sprawling drama of the empire. You find yourself pondering an oft-debated idea among historians. Was it the pleasantries of shared traditions, or the steam engine's inventiveness that truly connected cultures? The journey seems to echo the endless debates, hiccuping along with historical what-ifs and sipping on endless cups of possibility. You glance around at your fellow passengers, each swaying gently, with the train's movements absorbed in their thoughts or conversations, a tapestry of expressions, languages, and outfits. You overhear snippets of dialogues, one gentleman passionately unwrapping the latest episodes in cricket history to an unimpressed toddler. There a man comparing this train journey to a camel ride. More predictable paths, fewer personality quirks. He grins, eyes twinkling behind round spectacles. You rest your head against the window, feeling the cool glass vibrate under the force of wind. It's a contrast to the heat of the toast you hold, and the juxtaposition brings a soft chuckle to your lips. It's a peculiar but endearing embrace of contradictions, just like the empire's influence across the lands, both a burden and a legacy, heavy where rigid, moving where willing. There's a story whispered among the travelers, about a woman who once dropped her perfectly crisp toast on a crowded train. The chaos that ensued could only be described as an era-defining moment in culinary catastrophes. You imagine the madness of passengers trying to salvage the fallen slice. A testament to daily lives that balanced precariously between structure and spontaneity. Stretching your legs slightly, you absorb the scene of the dimly lit carriage, its narrow aisle bustling softly as a curious child peeps over the back of her seat. Her wide eyes catch yours, and with a giggle she captures the universal sentiment of discovery, a core tenet of travel, akin to the explorers and colonialists of yore. The rocking train sways your thoughts towards the path of food as diplomacy. How the nostalgia of tea, whether spiced or plain with or without milk, carries tales from times when inviting someone over for a cup was akin to offering a truce, no matter how deliciously temporary. Your world narrows to the subtleties, the hum of conversation, the clatter of cups being collected, distant laughter that tingles the air like soft bells. Perhaps you muse, it's the combination of uneven toast and smooth tea that encapsulates these layered legacies, both qualities required to find balance. As the train continues its journey under the blanket of night, the carriage dims further, passengers succumbing to a shared drowsiness. You exhale slowly, shoulders relaxing against a high-backed seat. Warmth seeps from your core, a post-toast glow, the kind that invites dreams seasoned with imagination. Do you think they knew back then that these simple comforts connected worlds as effectively as any treaty? The outside fades into a blur of shimmering orange and shadowy blues, painting dreams on eyelids as heavy as promises yet made. You wonder if this train's humble odyssey mirrors yours, each turn a hopeful compromise between the known and unknown, each track laid down carefully to reach both potential and nostalgia. And here, among new friends and old traditions, you find your place adrift and anchored as you sink slowly into slumber, like sipping the last sweet drop from a never-ending cup. The story seeps into your subconscious, a lullaby laced with iron rails and vessels of porcelain, where cultures collide gently and nations find common ground in delicate brew. Sleep comes easy, a soft whisper, a shared memory, a journey uninterrupted stretching into a future unknown, and yet as familiar as every comforting sip of tea. In the dim glow of the railway compartment, you find yourself listening to the rhythmic clack of the train wheels beneath you. Outside, the scenery shifts from bustling cityscapes to sprawling green fields dotted with fireflies mirroring the stars above. You glance around your compartment, where people sit closely together, their stories and aromas blending in a delightful mosaic of culture. In this space, dividers of race and class disappear, leaving behind a harmony of warm, enveloping scents. Across from you, a family unwraps their dinner with ceremonial precision. The fragrant biryani fills the air, spicy and comforting, mingling with the occasional whiff from the curry leaves of jackfruit curry, rich and earthy. Lentils spiced to perfection pair with boiled eggs, each adding its own distinct layer of scent like a masterfully crafted symphony. You breathe in deeply, letting the diverse flavors transport you to a place where meals tell stories new and old. Mind sharing some? A voice whispers beside you. A young boy, eyes wide with curiosity, peers over the edge of his seat, pointing at your small serving. You chuckle softly, feeling a kinship form in this shared human ritual of mealtime generosity. Offering him some boiled eggs, garnished with fresh coriander, you watch his face light up with the joy only food can offer. While you share this impromptu feast, you think about how centuries ago such culinary exchanges would have been rare, perhaps even frowned upon. Historians still debate whether these rich blends of flavors came from necessity or curiosity. You ponder whether explorers moving along these early train lines ever conceived of their journey becoming a culinary melting pot. The gentle sway of the carriage lulls you into a state of tranquility, a comforting cradle of motion and sound. Listening closely, you can overhear snippets of conversations meld in with the hum of the train. Soft voices exchange tales, the elderly couple reminiscing about their first journey aboard these tracks, while the merchants discuss the mysteries hidden in the city's bustling markets. The train, an intricate tapestry of steel and human stories, seems almost alive as it navigates its route. In this compartment where divisions dissolve, you pause and laugh with the strangers, turned friends sharing your journey. Even the young boy now snoozing with a full belly reminds you of simpler joys, his gentle snores, a testament to the peaceful night. With each passing hour, as the train advances into the night, you let fleeting thoughts of grand steam engines pass through your mind. These iron beasts, once considered the pinnacle of human ingenuity, now appear almost quaint against the backdrop of modernity. But tonight they continue their honored task of connecting people and cultures one station at a time. Quiet jokes slip into the air unintended, but welcomed, like the time you realize jackfruit actually complements curry like no other. A dry humor surfaces. Who would have thought jackfruit nature's mystery meat perfect in curries and time travelers from the past probably didn't even get to try it? You chuckle silently, feeling the warmth of shared mirth spreading across the compartment as others smile at their own experiences. Throughout the night, the journey carries on, your senses becoming attuned to the velvet nightscape as it sweeps past. The open windows invite the cool breeze teasing the edge of the blankets, embracing you. Your thoughts wander to the engineers who, panting in the furnace heat of the engine rooms, ensured that no matter the time of day or night, the train ran true. The unseen hands behind this moving wonder, unknown but not unnoticed. There's a certain magic that travels with you, a splendid cascade of worlds. Within worlds, each story a thread, woven into the colorful tapestry surrounding you. As the train rocks gently, you consider the subtleties and wonder, whether this mingling of lives and meals is not merely coincidence, but a shared history in motion. The night deepens, shadows softening, and conversations turn into whispers of comfort, sleepy musings drifting off into dream-filled corners of the carriage. You let the peace settle over you like a gentle mantle, feeling the encompassing body of the train as it ushers its precious cargo into the dawn. The lull of the wheels against the track serves as a lullaby, the promise of arrival, a whisper of journeys yet to unfold. With a content sigh, you lean back, letting your eyelids grow heavier against the serene unfolding of night. Somewhere in the distance, a lullaby hums its timeless tune, gently escorting the entirety of this encounter, a slice of history nestled in the present into the warmth of dream and rest. In the thick fog of early dawn, you find yourself walking along an ancient railway line, shrouded in the warmth of a woolen shawl. The air vibrates subtly with the rhythmic hum of the approaching train, a sound that promises both adventure and nostalgia. Puffy clouds of mist swirl around your feet, echoing the misty landscapes of the past. Hey guys, tonight we dream travel through history, retracing the silver paths laid down by the iron horses of old. As you step closer, the earthy metallic scent of railway sleepers beneath your boots gives you pause. Will you survive this centuries-old journey? You might, although the history we weave through isn't without its jolts. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Feel free to share your location and local time in the comments. Who knows, maybe you'll find a fellow history enthusiast from halfway around the world. Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. The railway station is a bustling tapestry of life, woven with vibrant threads of humanity and the scent of spices. It's as if the very platform stands as a relic, echoing tales spun from iron and steam. The train is a giant beast, huffing clouds that claw toward the sky, now alight with the gentle glow of dawn's embrace. You walk alongside this sleeping serpent, its carriages glinting softly, whispering whispers of countless travels and stories left behind on tracks long vanished. The crowd around you is an immense bazaar. Voices of sellers merge into a symphony, eager, earnest, and echoing with life. Vendors lay claim to spots with military precision, setting up impromptu kitchens beside these well-trodden rails. They craft meals over upturned griddles, stoking energetic little coal fires, whose dismissive smoke forms erratic columns in the crisp morning air. You wonder whether their minds ever wander away from this routine. The scent of cumin dances up to your nose, with fervor mingling amicably with sizzling mustard seeds that pop like bursts of laughter in the cool air. You indulge in a deep inhale, feeling your senses stretch and awaken. This moment might seem transient to some, but to you it's like biting into a strand of time, a tapestry woven with past travelers' stories and dreams. You pass a stall where a fire's glow reveals a heavy-lidded vendor, his face etched with the calm patience of years spent waiting for trains and customers alike. His hands move with the precision of an artist's slowly flipping golden, crispy circles on the griddle. Freshly made just for you, he calls with a grin. You decide to accept this tempting offer, feeling a wave of appreciative hunger awaken within. Those who traveled these lines a century ago might have enjoyed similar scenes. Railways revolutionized the world, bridged gaps between distant lands, and in an era of imperial ambition, where power was measured in both land and industry, they brought about change on an unprecedented scale. You nibble on the treat, savoring the complex mosaic of spices mingling and reflecting the world's wide palette. Historians still debate whether the culinary offerings of these platforms were more of a necessity than a novelty. Did they exist to fill travelers' bellies, or their yearning for a shared cultural experience that had been dispersed like seeds on the wind? It's a question that simmers as quietly as the coal fires. A soft chuckle escapes you. It's curious, isn't it? How life's great stories are often stitched together by the most mundane activities, the simple act of cooking, selling, and sharing. As you linger near another vendor whose meticulous movements capture your attention, you can almost imagine them knowing details of all the local station master's quirks or the ephemeral dynamics of changing train schedules. A steaming cup of chai is placed into your hands, and without realizing it, you find warmth soaking through, easing into your fingers. It's a small comfort, albeit with a force strong enough to rival the steam engines roaring nearby. You find yourself taking a sip, the spice is brisk, and awakening perhaps much like the Indian subcontinent under bright rising suns. You see a young girl barely of 10 tugging on the hem of her mother's sorry eyes, wide with sheer wonderment. Why do the spices dance like that, Mama? She questions hands, mimicking the exuberant jumping of mustard seeds. Her mother's gentle laugh resonates against the din, a sound both soothing and illuminating. Sometimes you muse. It's these small moments, the snatches of living conversation and simple awe for everyday wonders, that lend color to history's sepia-toned pages. They bind an epic past with the vibrancy of now, pulling at the heart in curious familiarity, as if each tale continues in the present through such subtle continuities. The train, now preparing its departure, lets out a deep sonorous whistle. You feel its vibration tingling through your shoes, through the very ground beneath you. People bustle with poised excitement, balancing between the anticipation of new sights and the sorrow of leaving behind familiar ones. It's a bittersweet dance you don't mind joining, sensing deep down that this interfacing of past with the present is what makes such travels infinitely compelling. As the train begins to roll out, your presence moves with it, soaked in the air and history and vivid flavors that stick to your senses like sprigs of sticky jaggery in a summer cake. Each section of the journey unfolds stories, however trivial or grand patches, stitched together by the historical quilt of rails cutting across landscapes. Onward, you venture through lands and times across the ages, on gleaming tracks of stories sewn from metal and spice laughter and history, charting a course onward, forever onward, into the sprawling fabric of night. The train sways gently beneath you, a rhythmic lull that matches the warmth of the sun streaming through the windows, casting shadows that dance across your lap. You find yourself in a carriage that is filled not only with people, but with a tapestry of scents that tell stories of lands far and wide. Each jostle of the train nudges open trunks of spices, the earthy scent mingling with the tang of homemade pickles. You sit on a bench, worn smooth by countless voyages, the wood's crevices filled with dust and secrets. Beside you, a mother unwraps a parcel with practiced hands and pulls out a jar. It glows with a reddish hue. Tiny flecks of mustard seeds suspended in liquid, as if in slow motion, waiting for their next act. She catches your eye and smiles, offering you a piece. It's a simple roti, but elevated by the family's secret pickle recipe. You take a bite, the tang, making your taste buds dance just as the train whistles past fields of swaying mustard flowers. The exchange seems quaint, yet profound, on this iron serpent, winding through landscapes, dotted with banyan trees and small villages that blur into one another. Across the aisle, an elderly man dressed in a long coat, with small spectacles balanced on his nose, leans over towards his neighbor, asking for just a taste of their exotic pickle concoction. It is a moment of sharing of connection, and you chuckle, realizing that meals in motion travel not just through space, but through the hearts of strangers. You can't help but think of the great trains of civilization, the Trans-Siberian Railway. An older cousin of this train brought not just people, but ideas and cultures across vast distances. History whispers in your ear, telling tales of how these iron beasts transform the world, threading together the isolated patches of humanity, stitching stories across continents. You recall a detail, a small footnote in history, that some of the first trains in India had to be protected from curious elephants who considered them new visitors to their forest homes. You smile at the thought, imagining a troop of elephants peering at a rumbling train as if watching an exotic performance. Your attention returns to your fellow passengers, each consumed by their own little worlds. The young couple across from you shares spoonfuls of tangy mango pickle family. May they assure you with pride, much like their promises of future adventures once they reach there. The journey has somehow become a kaleidoscope of flavors and aromas. Each jar handed over speaks of generations of taste time, immortalized in glass. You rub your hands on your jeans mind, wandering again to distant possibilities, wondering if historians will someday puzzle over why pickles were such important companions for train journeys. As the train rolls past a bustling station, vendors call out their voices, a lively chorus over the hum of steam. They hold out baskets brimming with snacks, roasted chickpeas, banana chips, and yes, more pickles. You hold your laughter back, remembering your own train picnics with family, those excursions which felt more like moving feasts. Your mother would conjure a masterpiece of flavors. The pickle jar was the pièce de résistance, its inevitable appearance timed to jokes and stories shared to the rhythm of the wheels. There's something about the motion of the train that makes the air drowsy, the vibrations seeping into your bones, whispering stories beckoning rest, even as the world blurs by. You wonder at the nature of human bonds, face to face, jar to jar, food to soul. You sense how our journeys are, but threads that weave a larger tapestry, one where even a simple jar of pickle becomes a cultural currency. To your right, a child fidgets with a cloth-wrapped bundle, curiously opening it to reveal a small clay toy, a glimpse into a life lived and cherished. A soft sound fills the carriage, laughter and chatter, blending with the rhythmic clatter of the train. You catch snippets of conversations, each voice like a note in a complex orchestra adds harmony to the scene. The traveler's tales interlace rich as the smells enveloping the air around you. As the late afternoon sun dips lower on the horizon, the carriage slips into a contemplative quiet that signals the brief pause before city lights begin their winks in the distance. The clanking of tea glasses in the distance echoes faintly, a comforting lull saying, "Rest now, for tomorrow the journey continues." You lean back, exhaling slowly, the bench creaking in agreement. As your eyelids grow heavier, somewhere a small joke is told, and laughter springs forth like a bubbling brook. It is shared joy, simple and unfettered, that brings warmth to the carriage. You smile, closing your eyes for a moment. And as the train carries you forward, you carry these moments in your heart, etched like stories, passed down jars, passed hand to hand, experience shared in fragments of space and time. You probably won't survive this sudden trip to the past without yearning for the comforts of your own home. But fret not. Before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Feel free to post your location and local time as we set the scene for our story. Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. Picture this. The sun climbs lazily above the horizon, coloring the world with its golden grace. It's the late 19th century, a time when silver is sought by some to fill pockets, and by others to fill mouths. Here in Mumbai, against this colorful backdrop, a captivating story unfolds, a tale of lunchboxes and the astonishing people who carry them. You wander through a bustling station where a steady stream of people ebbs and flows like an untamed river. Perched on your left, a man in a white kurta folds his morning newspaper with a kind smile, a silent nod to a stranger in step with history. In his hands, balanced with the dexterity of an artist and the strength of a laborer, is a bamboo crate filled with freshly cooked, lovingly packed lunches. This is a Dabbawala, a term that rolls off the tongue with the resonance of tradition. These Dabbawalas are the unsung heroes of Mumbai. They maneuver through this human sea with the grace of dancers, their movements as precise and inevitable as the ticking of your pocket watch talk about turning tables on takeout. Back then, in a world devoid of GPS, these folks managed to deliver over 200,000 lunches daily without a single written address. Quite the feat, especially considering even pigeons might miss an intersection here and there. You pause to admire the craftsmanship behind their operation. The Dabbawalas decipher intricate codes of colors and symbols, their secret language. It's a logistical marvel, reminiscent of how the stars guide sailors lost at sea. Historians still debate whether this system was born from sheer necessity or some culinary conspiracy to keep tastes authentically homemade. After all, nothing tames a hungry worker's rage like the warmth of a home-cooked meal, especially after a few questionable street snacks. A gentle breeze weaves through the platform, blending the scents of perfumed travelers with the earthy aroma of lunchboxes. You let the breeze carry your thoughts through time, pondering how this all started. In the 1890s, as Mumbai's economy thrived, not everyone could rush home for lunch. Enter the Dabbawala, the friend you didn't know you'd miss delivering love wrapped in steel jars. The morning air fills with a chorus of train whistles and soft-spoken negotiations about cricket scores, because what could be a more British pastime in colonial India? You exchange knowing glances with a nearby office clerk who's already dreaming of curried potatoes and sweet rice. You can almost hear his stomach agree. As you step onto the awaiting train, the vibrations carry you to the present moment, older carriages clicking like a metronome set to nostalgia. Looking around, you marvel at the scene, a tapestry of human experience, where time, tradition, and taste intermingle as seamlessly as the morning sun blending with the sky. The train accelerates, and with it, your pulse quickens at the thought of these Dabbawalas, tirelessly weaving through the wide boulevards and narrow bylanes of the city, clutching their precious cargo. You imagine the clamor of offices preparing for the midday rush, and the delight of countless workers as they crack open their tins, unleashing the scents and flavors of home. As the train rattles onward, your thoughts drift toward this curious dance of tradition and modernity, a waltz that continues to this day. You exhale slowly, a contented sigh, escaping as you find a seat among dreamers and doers. Just like the flavors they deliver daily, the Dabbawala system has become something of a delicacy, a legacy cooked slowly over time, spiced with ingenuity, and served fresh with a dash of human spirit. A chuckle escapes your lips as you wonder if there's a degree in lunch logistics these days. With curious eyes surveying the city painted by its stories and smiles, you realize that much like you, Mumbai is animated by the simple yet profound communion of strangers through simple acts of kindness and service. You let a feeling of profound calm rest on your shoulders as you slowly close your eyes, surrendering to the lull of the train and of history unfolding around you. The collective breath of this metropolis feels like a quiet promise echoing just beneath the surface, whispering tales of camaraderie, resilience, and unity, an unspoken pact of getting through the day together, one lunchbox at a time. Letting these thoughts envelop you, you drift further into this rhythm, wrapped in the comfort of shared stories and dreams, navigating through both past and present on this sleepy journey through time. Meals become your clock, abandoning the digital distractions of the modern world. You stand in a landscape painted by sunrises and sunsets, where the day starts, not with the buzz of an alarm, but the simple glow of the sun rising over the horizon. You stretch, feeling the cool grass beneath your feet, and turn your face towards the warming light. Around you, the campsite begins to stir quietly, a symphony of rustling canvas and sleepy murmurs. As you gather with others for breakfast, the sun is your guide. Its angle in the sky determines the time, casting long shadows across the early morning dew. You munch on bread, cheese, and fruits, appreciating how meals here are less about schedules and more about the natural order of things. You exhale slowly, shoulders relaxing against the bench beneath you, appreciating the simplicity of it all. You embark on a morning walk towards the distant river crossing. The significance of these crossings isn't just practical. They are literal landmarks of your day. As you stroll along the path through the fields, Your footsteps sync with the rhythm of the gentle breeze rustling the wildflowers. You can't help but smile at the thought that GPS and real-time navigation are but figments of a future yet to come. Here you trust your instincts, or perhaps the seasoned traveler walking beside you to find your way. An elderly man with a weathered face shuffles beside you, his cane thumping softly against the earth. You see he gestures at the horizon. When the sun reaches just there, it's time for lunch, isn't it? You nod, sharing a knowing look. This world turns at a measured pace, unhurried by the rush of minutes and seconds. As midday approaches, the landscape opens up into a broad meadow, the kind that stretches infinitely, its limits only decided by the imagination. The brilliance of the sun above signals it's time for lunch, a reality confirmed by your rumbling stomach. You unpack your bundle, sharing salted meat and preserved figs with those around you. Did you know someone asks between bites that figs were among the first cultivated fruits over 11,000 years ago? Fascinating, you say, genuinely intrigued. Though I bet they didn't have to worry about packing them into the exact size of those modern-day snack bars, right? After lunch, the journey continues, marked by the sun inching across the sky. By afternoon, with shadows growing long and cool air brushing against you, you reach a quiet village. People here define time by ritual, not technology. Chai time emerges naturally, the tea's aroma swirling through the air, signaling a calm pause. You find yourself seated on a wooden stool, sipping the spiced warmth as conversation ebbs and flows around you like a gentle tide. Historians still debate whether the origins of chai started exactly like this, but in this moment, you're happy to accept whatever romantic notion suits you. A spry young girl offers you a jug of water, her large eyes watching expectantly. Make sure you don't spill. She giggles before darting away, leaving you with your reflection wavering on the surface of the jug. The village elder joins your table, eyes twinkling like merry little constellations. Time is like this tea, he muses. Lifting his cup, taking it slow, is often more rewarding. You ponder his words, lifting your own cup to your lips, breathing in the spiced steam. A comforting thought in the absence of digital devices or mechanical clocks. Time flows more fluidly, marked only by tangible experiences and shared wisdom, a timeless tapestry you've become a part of, if only for today. Your day continues into the evening, soft hues of sunset painting the sky. As darkness tugs gently at the edges of your vision, you sense the rhythm of the world around you winding down. Stars begin to dot the blanket of night, blinking curiously like old friends. As you settle by the campfire, sleepy reciprocations of stories from the day's journey fill the air, blending with the crackling logs as firelight flickers across familiar faces. You wrap a blanket around yourself, feeling the embrace of warmth as the chatter quiets with the deepening night. In this tranquil twilight, with routines sketched by celestial bodies and shared rituals, you find contentment in the simplicity. As you close your eyes, you smile softly, knowing tomorrow's journey will rise with the sun, a continuation of timeless existence, serenely awaiting in the hush of the night. The cart you find yourself on rattles along a winding dirt path, the occasional jolt causing a cascade of puffed rice to shift in the sack beside you. Each bump echoes through your bones, a reminder of the uneven journeys travelers long before you undertook. Your fingers gingerly reach for a handful of the puffed rice, the grains light and airy like scattered pearls against your skin. You toss a few into your mouth, and they crackle softly as you bite down their subtle flavor, offering a touch of comfort amidst the unpredictable ride. In front of you, a small clay pot, filled to the brim with fried chickpeas, balances precariously every corner dusted with aromatic spices. You tilt the pot towards you, allowing a few morsels to tumble into your hand. As you chew, a wave of warmth from the spices coats your tongue, and you can't help but smile at the zesty surprise hidden within the crunchy exterior. These simple pleasures hold more value than gold coins on a journey like this. Historians still debate whether travelers from centuries past truly anticipated the laborious nature of their expeditions, or if they simply accepted it as the cost of self-discovery. You wonder if they too carried similar provisions, augmented by the distinctive taste of each region they passed through. The cart trundles on the scenery, a tapestry of rolling fields and azure skies. You draw in a deep breath, the air tinged with the earthy fragrance of recently turned soil, mingling with the sweet scent of distant blossoms. Your shoulders ease into the rhythm of the ride. There is something inherently soothing in the relentless continuity of motion, no matter how bone-rattling it might be. Nestled next to the chickpeas is a small pouch, faded and worn from the touch of countless hands. Inside, jaggery-coated peanuts glisten like tiny oval jewels, promising a sugary escape from the monotony of travel. You pop one into your mouth, the sweetness and slight bitterness of the jaggery melting together, leaving a lingering caramel-like finish. It's like alchemy in your mouth, transforming something simple into something delightful. You muse briefly on whether the alchemists of old, seeking gold, ever considered they might find it in something so humble as a snack. As the cart jostles you further down the road, you find yourself imagining the tales these snacks could tell, if only they could speak of the many travelers they've nourished, the tales swapped over evening fires, and the secrets shared under starry skies. Your own story would add to that tapestry, another thread looping gently into place. A voice cuts through your reverie, the cart driver offering a lazy nod, acknowledging your presence as the sun begins its slow descent. Shadows stretch lazily across the path, elongating and softening the edges of the world as the light grows more golden. Food for thought, eh? He chuckles, nodding towards your scattered provisions. You respond with a smile, nodding in agreement. Indeed, these simple snacks are more than sustenance. They are threads that connect you to an unfathomable number of lives, stories, and journeys. You notice small details, like how the chickpeas are slightly uneven in size, each one holding its distinct character, much like the travelers they have accompanied. The sun's descent brings with it a cooler breeze, whispering through the fields and chilling your cheeks with its fleeting caress. You pulled your shawl tighter around your shoulders, the fabric rustling softly against the wooden bench of the cart. In the fading light, you find your thoughts drifting back in time, imagining the stories shared around campfires, some factual, others embellished, like the tale of a man who claimed to outrun a wild beast, using nothing but a bag of chickpeas as distraction. As the last rays of daylight bleed into the shadows of night, the cart's pace slows. You sense the driver shifting, preparing for a stop to rest the horses. This pause in the journey offers you a moment to reflect on the warm glow of the landscape, its tranquility, a blanket easing over the rolling land. You hear soft laughter in the distance, a melody carried on the wind from the nearby village. This sparks a familiar warmth inside your chest, an unspoken connection with travelers from times gone by. Over centuries, these paths have seen countless souls seeking adventure, reprieve, or a new beginning. As your eyelids grow heavy, your thoughts simplify like chickpeas, like puffed rice, like jaggery peanuts, into something wholesome and grounding. Soon you will be able to rest, allowing the murmurs of history to weave gentle dreams into your sleep. The cart finally comes to a halt, and you exhale deeply, your body unfurling and finding stillness in this moment of pause. The quiet song of the countryside wraps around you, a lullaby, spun from crickets' calls and rustling leaves. You settle deeper into your seat eyes, closed now, feeling each heartbeat tethered to this ancient pulse of the land. And as the soft whisper of the night cradles you, a gentle mantra forms in your mind. They've journeyed this path before, and so shall I, resting beyond the horizon, where stories old and new converge as one. The village is alive with the gentle hum of life as you make your way across the dusty path. The ancient trees, their branches swaying in the soft evening breeze, stand as silent witnesses to time's passage. As you pass by the tinkling laughter of children playing nearby, you wonder how these tiny moments tie into the great tapestry of history that surrounds you. You notice the earthen pots lined up against the wall of a nearby home, their surfaces dappled with the day's last light. These pots, crafted from the earth itself, have served their purpose for generations, cooling water without the need for anything more than the natural laws of temperature and evaporation. You pause, taking a deep breath, and can almost feel the past stretching out behind you like an unfurling scroll, marked by the hands that molded these humble vessels. Quenching a thirst in days of old was more than a simple act of refreshment. It was a dance with the earth itself. The villagers knew the secrets of the pots, that they kept the water cool without the aid of modern contrivances. How wondrous you think that even now these ancient techniques continue to serve as a testament to human ingenuity. A gentle smile tugs at your lips as you consider what your refrigerated drinks would think of this marvel. Nearby, a small group of women gather, their voices mingling with the soft rustle of leaves. Cradled carefully in their arms are containers filled with cumin-infused buttermilk and sweet lemon water. It's almost a sacred ritual, these lovingly prepared refreshments, carried along the sun-dappled paths. You can almost taste the hints of cumin and lemon on your tongue, a subtle reminder of how flavors can weave themselves into the fabric of a culture. Across cultures and lands, the idea of infusing water with various flavors to enhance its refreshment is an old one. Historians still debate whether it started as a practical solution to enhance dull water or as a creative leap to celebrate sustenance. You decide it probably doesn't matter as much as the simple joy of sipping something so lovingly prepared. As you consider this, a young girl offers you a cup of buttermilk, her smile as warm as the evening's glow. "Here, try some," she says, her voice as bright as the citrus that flavors the air. You accept the cup gratefully, the cool liquid sliding down your throat, with all the ease of a summer breeze across a golden field. You can't help but nod at the ingenuity. These concoctions were more than mere beverages. They were hospitality in a sip, storytelling in a cup. Behind the chatter of the women and the sweet aroma of the infused waters, you hear the rustle of tattered pages and a soft chuckle. An elderly man is seated near the earthen pots, surrounded by scrolls and papers that seem to whisper tales of days long past. Curiosity piqued you venture closer, wondering what stories these fragile leaves of paper might reveal. "Ah," the old man says, looking up with a gleam in his eye that matches the twinkle of stars beginning to poke through the twilight. "Interested in our history, are you?" His voice carries the practiced warmth of a storyteller who has spun tales by many a fireside. You nod, perching on a nearby stump, and he begins to recount how the secrets of earthenware craftsmanship had traveled across deserts and seas, how traders with an array of pots and jugs brought their slow magic of cooled water to distant lands. You marvel at how these unassuming pots linked diverse cultures, much like tiny, humble ambassadors. There's a comfort in understanding these ages-old practices, knowing that they persist. You find yourself wondering if the whispered debate among historians might echo through these quiet villages. After all these water pots have outlasted entire empires, surely they have a few secrets to tell. The old man pauses, looking at you with a mischievous glint. "And did you know," he adds, leaning forward as if sharing a sacred secret, "some say that drinking from these earthen vessels brings you closer to the earth itself." "Not sure about that, but it does save on an electricity bill." You chuckle at his dry wit, feeling the last tensions of the day melt away like sugar in tea. Your shoulders drop, and as the old man returns to his scrolls, you take in the gentle procession of life around you. It seems as though the entire village hums with a rhythm as old as time, a serene harmony that rocks you into a gentle calm. The jars, the infused waters, the stories, they all form an intricate weave that draws you in, wrapping around you like a cozy blanket on a cool evening. It's as if each gulp of cumin-infused buttermilk and every sip of lemon water carries a bit of history within it, reminding you that while our ancestors may not have had smartphones or fast food, they certainly knew how to savor the moment. As twilight stretches lazily into night, you notice others beginning to find their way home. With hearts and bellies full, they leave behind an imprint on the path, a faint echo of laughter, conversation, and clinking cups that carry on long after the shadows have closed in. Your own journey lies ahead, richer for the unexpected history lesson and the refreshment it brought. You rise, stretching your limbs as you prepare to leave the comforting enclave of earthen wisdom and cumin-scented stories. The village, with its timeless air and gentle camaraderie, seems a world away from the flurry of everyday life. You take one final look at the pots and their refreshing bounty, nodding in silent agreement with ages past. There's a peace in knowing that some things are constant, a reassurance that whispers through the evening air as you begin your walk back home. Your steps are lighter, your heart a little fuller, with the connection you've made with history, with the world, with yourself. In every sip of refreshment shared, every story told, you carry a piece of this timeless dance, a reminder that the simplest things often hold the greatest truths. As you disappear into the night, the village, much like the story, continues to hum softly, waiting to quench the thirst of those who seek its timeless wisdom once more. You gently find yourself transported to the vibrant landscape of colonial India, a time when the British Railway was a web of iron connecting far-flung corners of the empire. You stroll down a bustling platform, senses alive with new, unfamiliar scents hanging in the thick, humid air. Early reports from the railway builders grumbled about these native smells lacing the air with an unnoticed distaste. But to you, this sensory tapestry is tantalizing. You can almost feel the heavy steam of the engines against your skin, moist and warm like a balm that hovers in the early evening. You overhear snippets of conversation as travelers shuffle past, talk of far-off provinces, personal tales woven with the language of hope and yearning. Beside a clattering stall, a vendor wraps spiced samosas in old newspapers, their fried skins glistening tantalizingly under the sun's orange glow. Without thinking, you almost reach for a samosa, your own curiosity piqued by the mix of spices that tickles your nose, cardamom, cumin, a hint of something sweet yet fiery. Ah, the delicate dance of flavors that colonial officers, despite their stiff collars and formal airs, could not resist themselves. Incidentally, historians still debate whether it was the earnest allure of masala chai, or perhaps just the accessible indulgence of street food that drew even the strictest officers towards local fare. You sigh a small laugh, escaping as you picture a burly British officer mustache, thick and waxed, sneaking bites behind some towering stacks of cargo. Oh, the perils of maintaining decorum amidst such temptations. As you wander, you imagine stepping into the train, the doors clanking shut with a decisive thunk. Inside, wooden benches creak benevolently under the weight of passengers, many cloaked in colorful textiles that ripple like silken waterfalls. A quaint scene unfolds beside you, a family huddled close, steam from their thermos unfurling into a transient ghost above their teacups. You wonder quietly if they sense the ironies of colonial rule, the outward rejection, yet secretive enjoyment of their simplest cultural comforts. A slow breeze wanders through the open windows, as if even the wind is lazy with the heat. As you stare out past the undulating blur of lush, green fields, you catch sight of laborers resting beneath canopy-like trees, seeking respite from the relentless sun. They seem whimsically unbothered by time moving like part of the landscape itself. A bubbling pot marks the vendor's stall, bringing you back to the platform. Your eyes catch the glint of brass tongs moving with rhythmic precision, serving cups of chai, nestled in rough-cut glass. You watch amused as a colonial officer hesitates, but eventually gives in to a cup, tipping the vendor with a subtle nod. You wonder if his tongue relishes that spicy warmth previously dismissed in formal reports. Around you, the platform vibrates with life, vibrant in its cacophony. Birds nestle above in steel rafters, casting brief shadows over the stained pavement where hurried feet have tread countless times. Against this symphony, the deep rumble of an approaching engine punctuates the air, ever a reminder of industrial intent amidst the personal narratives unfolding. You take a seat on a waiting bench, the wood cool beneath you despite the day's heat. You unwind as you watch the world spill its stories. The sultry embrace of this land, a careful contrast to the rigid lines of rule. Idly you ponder what this place, this era will leave behind, and whether in some corner of time the scent of chai and samosas will linger more fiercely than that of coal and ambition. And thus you exhale emotions settling as the train whistles its imminent arrival. The platform dances a last celebration of farewells and hopeful new encounters. You feel the day's warmth meld with your musings, a calming fade to this vibrant overture. Softly the landscape begins to quiet as you lean back, trusting in the gentle rhythmic sway of retreating engines and the sleepy chatter of distant passengers. A journey rich and tethered to the past transforms into a reverie as the night's lull unravels its tapestry. Dreams unite in the soft hum of wheels against tracks, winding towards a gentle night where fantasy and memory entwine. A calm, soothing place where stories sleep untroubled by time. The sun has long set, and the gentle flicker of lantern light casts a dance of shadows across the walls of a small bazaar. You find yourself standing amidst a vibrant tapestry of sights and smells, a symphony of sensory delights captivating your tired mind. The scent of turmeric and tamarind curls around you like incense smoke, intermingling with the faint, familiar scent of ink and paper. Yesterday's headlines, now gently perfumed with the spices of the night market. In your hand, you carry a small, simple parcel wrapped in old newspaper, the epitome of portability and disposability, a testament to the ingenuity found in everyday life. You glance at it, noting the faded prints and images of events that once seemed monumental, but now barely stir a memory. You ponder how such newsprint was crafted centuries ago, using nothing but raw materials and patience, and art as ephemeral as the stories themselves. As you wander through the market, a vendor calls out to you, gesturing with a vibrant smile and a soft, teasing voice. Oh, don't worry, the spices don't bite much. You chuckle your laughter, light in the humid air. It's a time and place where the banal and the profound effortlessly intermingle, much like this bazaar of transient wonders. With the bundle snug in your hand, you immerse yourself in the tales woven by the undertones of whispered conversations. You stop at a stall where an elderly man crafts intricate clay trinkets, his hands moving deftly as he tells a story, one of trade routes and ancient bridges where gold caravans traversed the Silk Road a millennium ago, leaving echoes that still resonate today. You see Himuse's eyes twinkling. They didn't have GPS, so every lost caravan was just another opportunity to find a new, undiscovered shortcut. He chuckles, the sound deep and reassuring. You nod your mind, tracing those routes across deserts and mountains, imagining the travelers who once sought fortune and knowledge. You find comfort in the thought how history is as much about getting lost and found again. A slight breeze, both warm and cool, rustles the pages of your parcel, and you glance around, taking in the colorful chaos, the vivid reds and deep sapphires of the market's textiles, the captivating cacophony of bartering voices, each vying to leave their mark. You notice a young girl standing near the spice stall, her tiny hands full of marigolds, as she tries to coax an undecided customer into buying her floral wares. Her tenacity reminds you of the fierce spirit of early philosopher entrepreneurs who built empires from nothing but determination. A nice reminder that even the smallest endeavor starts with a strong-willed heart. We've all got to start somewhere, you think to yourself, whether peddling flowers or carving out a trade route. Perhaps historians still debate whether it was willpower or sheer accident that led to the first great discoveries. Either way, your heart swells with understanding and respect for those who walk this path before you. You pause by the edge of the market, where the scent of steaming chai drifts lazily around you, curling with the smoke from a small fire pit. A group of traders share stories. Their voices blend in with the crackling of the fire, wrapping you in warmth and camaraderie. You catch a snippet of conversation, a debate about the origins of the first newspapers, a nod to pamphlet wars made of curiosity and wooden presses. You can't help but smile. It's the kind of discussion that forces you to consider if those early scribes fully understood the revolutionary power they held within their ink-stained hands. As the vendors pack their remaining goods under the stars, the night air cools, kissing your skin. You clutch your parcel tighter to your chest, feeling its reassuring weight. With every step, you are a traveler of both time and place, linked with countless others who have embraced the simplicity of portable dreams, disposing of what doesn't serve them while cherishing what does. You hear a faint tune, a lullaby of sorts, footsteps softening in the distance, and you know it's almost time to rest, to let the world fade into the soft grays of contentment. You breathe deeply, allowing the vibrant tapestry of experiences to settle in your heart like a warm quilt. No need for haste or worry. Let the story wrap around you as you drift closer to slumber, a comforting reminder that though these experiences are simple and fleeting, their echoes are everlasting. The world hums a gentle lullaby just for you. And as the night deepens, you close your eyes, letting the melody carry you to dreams. They're wrapped in the nighttime whispers of yesterday's headlines and the exotic dance of spices. You find a simple ending to a day full of discovery, a small but profound truth whispered by the night in every forgotten page, in every spice-laden breeze, and every story traded across time. There lies the heart of life itself, endlessly ephemeral, but infinitely significant. So sleep now, and let the tales you've gathered tonight weave themselves into dreams as gentle as the night itself. You step back in time, where the crisp morning air is alive with the sense of rural India. A subtle breeze tugs at the loose tendrils of your hair as you find yourself standing on a narrow, dusty path. It's busy with early day activity. Vendors set up their carts piled with familiar goods, their voices carrying over the chatter of villagers. You pause, entranced by the burst of color from a vegetable stall, vibrant red tomatoes, earthy potatoes, and the inviting fragrance of coriander dance around your senses. Yet in this scene of abundance, you notice how some people pass with averted eyes, intent on their own path. You wonder briefly, touching your own hunger, if they do this out of dietary preferences or deeper social mandates. The mild warmth of the sun spreads across your skin as you draw nearer to a small group gathered beneath the wide-brimmed leaves of a banyan tree. They are travelers, clearly, and reflect a deliberation that intrigues you. A weathered man, balancing on the balls of his feet, holds up a parcel wrapped in banana leaf. "Always the safest to eat what you've brought yourself," he says, winking conspiratorially, as if sharing a universal secret. With an amused quirk of your lips, you notice how another traveler unfolds a cloth containing a neat stack of chapatis. There's a simplicity to these homebound meals that echoes a comforting ritual. This group, you quickly gather, might be journeying for days, yet still choose homemade food over bustling market offerings. Though focused on their own conversations, you hear snippets about the concerns over food purity tied to various communities and their customs. It's an intriguing facet of the social fabric woven into day-to-day living. Historians still debate whether these practices stemmed purely from religious adherence or an intertwined sense of familial belonging. The path ahead fades slightly beneath encroaching shadows as the day progresses. Your footsteps mix with the thrumming heartbeat of the village, a harmony of life undisturbed by the complexities it weaves around. Children dart between your legs, laughter trailing behind, as you make your way past an old temple etched with time. The scent of incense lingers, nearly palpable. You find yourself pondering if ages ago people ever contemplated the possibility of modern conveniences disrupting such intentional simplicity. One day, you think wryly someone might invent a carriage ride-through for quick meals. You smile at the thought, wondering if they might call it fast, slow food. Beside you, the sound of sandals scuffing gently against dirt draws your attention back. A younger traveler pipes up, holding a small jar of homemade pickle in one hand. Do you think they ask eyes alight with mischief? They ever tasted something like this? You chuckle softly, acknowledging the humor in the endless curiosity of tastes from other lands. You recall a mention of Marco Polo and how pasta was seen as a novelty, not unlike the way these travelers hold on to their trusted foods amid new experiences. A whisper of wind picks up as you walk past another stall selling sweets. The sight of intricate jalebis coiled like golden jewels tempts you momentarily before you regain focus on the narrative unfolding around you. It seems so many aspects of life then ran along these invisible lines, segregating, unifying, complicating. Some avoided outside food to maintain purity, perhaps at a caution. Others simply relished the connective thread to their homes through each bite they took. You watch them close their meals, faces serene and satisfied, the kind of contentment that speaks to the heart more than words could convey. You continue alongside them as evening descends, feeling the day's warmth transition to a gentle chill that wraps around your shoulders like a familiar shawl. As you press forward, only the crunch of dry leaves underfoot and the distant crooning of a nightingale accompany your thoughts. The day softens into evening whispers, echoing questions yet, without urgency urging reflection rather than resolution. Your eyes linger on the horizon, where the sky drapes itself with indigo hues. Here, the past converges with presence in a nostalgic embrace, inviting dreams that cross the span of histories lived and shared. The air becomes cool as night claims its dominion. And finally, you let your eyes drift closed, carried by the cadence of timeless tales. As the train continues its journey across the expansive landscape, your senses are tantalized by the aromas wafting through the aisles every time the steel wheels screech to a halt. You find yourself amidst travelers, each sharing stories, their voices blending into the rhythmic clatter of the train. Glimpses of life flash by outside the window as you note the changing tapestry of colors and structures with every new station. The first stop is Agra, where the air is imbued with the sweet scent of jalebi being fried in hot oil. You step down onto the platform, drawn towards a vendor, carefully lifting golden, syrup-dripping spirals from a sizzling wok. The jalebi offers a delightful contrast to the crisp air of the morning. You can't help but chuckle at the slightly sticky fingers that follow, as an old man with a white mustache smiles warmly at you over the steam of his frying pan. "A little sticky doesn't hurt," he says with a wink. Experts still ponder whether the Persian origins of jalebi hold true, or if it sprung from an ingenious experiment in Indian kitchens. The sound of laughter among strangers, sharing bites of hot sweets, starts off this journey, with a quintessential taste of Agra, each bite tasting of crispy delight. Back on the train, your thoughts linger on the vibrant scene as the landscape morphs into the drier, more muted tones of Rajasthan. By the time you reach Ajmer, you eagerly anticipate the savory bite of kachori. Each town plastered with the signs of stories told and untold. The red stone buildings reflect the setting sun as you step off onto a bustling platform filled with tantalizing aromas. A vendor calls out offering crisp, flaky kachoris stuffed with spicy lentil or tangy onion, a staple cherished by locals and travelers alike. You savor the spicy kick, the warmth spreading as you chew thoughtfully. It's said that these snacks have deep roots in North India, where each region vehemently claims its specialty version. Of course, historians continue to play culinary detectives, sizing up crumbs of evidence here and there, much like you. As the train moves onward again through the intensifying twilight, you chuckle to yourself. A fantasy of all the historical debates being conducted over a shared plate of treats entertains your mind. You wonder if solutions wouldn't come easier with the right snack in hand. The journey takes you further south, and by sunrise, a soft amber light spills over you, gently rousing you awake. The sight itself is almost poetic as the train rolls into Chennai. The humidity whispers promises of idli, served fresh and steaming. Among the lively crowd, you find a vendor selling fluffy white discs served against a bright green leaf with a side of fragrant coconut chutney. A comforting simplicity accompanies each bite, a stark contrast to the bustling scene of hawkers and travelers. As you sit beside a young family sharing breakfast, you feel a part of this larger intrinsic web, connecting everyone on the move. Idli is often heralded as South India's culinary gift. Yet whether it traveled here from distant trade routes or was crafted in ancient Indian kitchens remains much debated. Chewing your idly, you find serenity in the soft texture, melding with the piquant chutney beneath the warm sun. With the train's whistle echoing through the station, it is time to return to your seat. You recline, letting the gentle rocking soothe your thoughts into dreams. This journey across the diverse spices and flavors of India's heartland is more than just a passage. It's a tapestry of sights, sounds, and savors drawn to life in your memory. Even as you try to keep your eyes open, a sleepy nostalgia tugs at your thoughts. In the cocoon of your train compartment, as slumber gently claims you echoes of the bustling platforms, the vendors' calls, and the shared laughter fade into the background, leaving only the soft clatter of steel on tracks, lulling you deeper into a restful embrace. The scents of curry coal and cardamom linger in the air as the train slows to a gentle crawl, wheels clattering one last time before the final stop. Your journey through time and place unfolds like an old photograph, sepia-toned moments etched forever into memory. The air, still fragrant with the shared meal, wraps around you with comforting familiarity. The clink of cutlery and soft murmur of voices still echo in your mind, an auditory remnant of companionship among strangers. As you glance around the dimly lit compartment, you see traces of the journey all around you. A forgotten napkin crumpled beside a wicker basket, a half-filled glass of spiced tea, capturing the ghosts of earlier stories. You shift in your seat, feeling the gentle resistance of the aged upholstery beneath you, and lean back against the window. There's that low hum of a world outside, the rhythmic chant of crickets, the distant murmur of the city settling down for the night. You think back to how many souls might have traveled this same path before you, seeing the world flash by through smudged glass. Through centuries of steam and steel, these carriages must have heard whispers of secrets and singing of dreams. You wonder if the stories they held would ever truly be shared. Historians still debate whether the nightly journeys were more about the destination or the connections made along the way. Your eyes flutter closed for just a moment, and you allow yourself a wistful smile, thinking about the stories shared over the meal that filled these very seats with laughter and crumbs. There was the tale of the spice merchant carrying exotic aromas from lands far and wide, his stories weaving through the air, much like the delicate fragrances now lingering. You catch yourself wondering if his tales got even spicier after each retelling. Each passenger had their own story, like the old gentleman with the pocket watch whose wrinkled hands drew maps on the air as he spoke, or the young girl clutching a flower, its petals now wilting but still cherished like a family heirloom. She sat across from you, her eyes wide with wonder, asking endless questions about the wonders beyond the windows. Her curiosity was the kind that could guide an expedition, yet here it simply moved her from laugh to contemplative sigh. The train's whistle blows gently, a soft punctuation, to finish this chapter in the book of your travels. You reach into your coat pocket and find the small token you traded for earlier, a single cardamom pod, its scent preserved like a promise of future tales. Its aroma mingles with coal dust, and the spices in the air, a sensory signature of this moment that you'll carry with you long after the train has pulled into the station for the night. There's something whimsical about how a meal can become a journey of its own, a shared experience in motion, continentally defying the boundaries of time and geography. You consider with amused disbelief whether meals like this could solve world peace. Probably not, but at least it could have its small victories, one satisfied passenger at a time. You almost chuckle at the thought how something as simple as curry could hold the power to bridge the chasm between distant cultures and bring warmth to hesitant conversation. You have heard it said in jest that spices were not just traded, but played envoy to diplomacy too. Perhaps that's where history finds its humor. As the train rolls gently into the station, the past few hours replay softly behind your closed eyes like a dream that clings to the edges of waking thought. A meal shared in motion, not just the food itself, but the gestures, the shared glances, the lingering smells, each one a brush stroke on the canvas of memory. You stretch your legs, feeling a little reluctant to leave this night train of camaraderie, history, and quiet introspection. Yet every journey has its final call. You gather your things subtly, almost ceremonially, ensuring every moment of this ride stays untarnished in the keepsake box of your mind. Standing now, you look down the aisle at the other passengers who still linger in the haze of shared conversation. The knowing nod here, the soft laughter there. You pause a momentary hesitation, as though taking the last steps across a bridge suspended over nostalgia. Those steps feel like a grace note for this symphony of experiences echoing gently. As you step off the air from outside, greets you with a newness, yet the scents from the carriage cling closely, like returning from a long embrace. Even as darkness wraps the world in its soft mantle, the lights guiding the platform usher you within their embrace. You feel reassured, knowing that this night's journey, etched with scents and stories, holds a piece of you forever. You take another deep breath, capturing one last mix of curry, coal, and cardamom. A reminder that life's most cherished stories are scented with the essence of humanity. As you bid farewell to this journey, you slow your steps, letting the gentle footfalls sound more distant with each pace. The night is calm, the path illuminated by soft flickering lamplight, a steady guide through the cool whisper of twilight air. Your thoughts drift again, mellow with satisfaction and tinged with the rich afterglow of connection. You know this is not an end, but rather the soft pause before another beginning, where time yields its secrets reluctantly. The heart of the journey beats on each echo, a reminder that a train, a track, and a shared meal hold the power to bring past and present together with such subtle grace. The carriage might be still now, yet its motion lingers, a memory swaying gently back and forth, lulling you into a deep, restful peace. Your eyelids grow heavier as every part of the day fades, every detail softens. You imagine the train's gentle journey transformed into a lullaby, its travels beyond the horizon, a dream within. As you drift further from waking thoughts, the world around you blurs into silence. The calm rhythm of remembered wheels sings you home, a reminder that every journey, like every story, finds its own restful conclusion. Slowly, steadily, you release yourself to sleep, embraced by your journey's sweet memories. And as dreams arrive to accompany your gentle slumber, the scents of curry coal and cardamom become the lullaby easing you into the night.